Hey guys, welcome to yet another episode of Diezel VH4 versus modeling platforms. This is probably the last one. I think this is the 5th one. In today's video, we're going to compare my Diezel VH4 to Tonex. We did the Line 6 Helix Stadium XL. We did the Fractal Audio AM4. We did the Fender Tone Master Pro. We did the Quad Cortex. So this has been interesting and a lot of fun. I've talked about all the details before in all the videos, but real quick, I chose the Diezel VH4 because it's a really interesting and weird sounding amplifier with some really unique quirks that are hard to model, in my opinion. Yeah, and it's just a wonderful amplifier, and I wanted to see how close all the modeling platforms could get to my personal VH4. For the real amp, I'm doing a fully analog rig, so the sounds that you're going to hear from the real amp are going to be with a real speaker, with my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12 with a V30, mic'd up with 3 mics, and then for the modeling platforms, we're going fully digital. In this case, Tonex, the Tonex plugin. Of course, you can also load these sounds on your Tonex pedal. And of course, I made a capture pack, a full capture pack, where I captured this amplifier in all its glory, the Diezel VH4. It's called the SDS DV4 Tonex Tone Model Pack. That's available in my web store. So if you're interested, go and check that out. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is listen to the comparison of the real amp versus the Tonex V2 Tone Model. So let's take a listen. Check it out. All right, very interesting, very close indeed. So Tonex is impressive. Now let's check out the isolated comparison as well with just the guitars. Yeah, so very close, very impressive. Did it capture the quirks of the real amplifier 100%? Perhaps not, but it did get very close. Some of you might even prefer the little bit more polished sound of the Tonex V2 Tone Model over those raw characteristics of the real amplifier, if you will. But I think the Tonex did a great job. Is it more accurate than the Quad Cortex V2 neural capture though? Not sure. Let me know your thoughts. That's in the previous episode, so go check that out if you're interested. So yeah, interesting. Close for sure, right? Now I have Tonex loaded up in my DAW with my V2 captures, my capture pack to be precise, with all the captures that are included. I've opened up a random guitar session where you can just check out some of the sounds. 24 models are included in this pack, half of which have my real cabinet baked in, and the other half are DI captures that you can use with your own IRs, etc. And again, if you're interested, check out my web store. So we're going to take a quick listen to some of the tones that are included. Let's start with channel 1, the clean channel. And I have to note that I am always, with this platform, for some reason with my interface, I have to use the input gain. I always do like 8 decibels or so. That works for me just fine. For you, that might be different. If you're, adjusting your interface so that it barely gets into the red or something like that, you might not have to boost the input at all. The DI tracks that I always use are slightly on the softer side, so I have to boost the input level at around 8 decibels or so to get the same gain level as my real amplifier, just so you know. Anyway, that's a nice clean tone. We also have the clean channel with the bright switch on. That's a little bit more bright, right? All right, let's go to channel 2. Let me find a good riff that's suitable for crunchy tones. All right, I found a riff here that we can sort of use for crunchy tones. So let's go ahead and find us a channel 2 capture. Let's take a listen. Yeah, that crunch channel or channel 2 on the Diezel VH4 sounds awesome. Nice and hairy, but with a lot of string definition. Even more when you turn on the bright switch. Let's turn down the volume a little bit. Very cool. Now let's look for another riff and try channel 3. Channel 3 is where the goodness is at. This is the capture that I used for that comparison. Let's take a listen. These are basically my favorite settings for this amp. I must say that this really sounds like a Diezel VH4 with all those weird dynamic quirks. Channel 2, I believe, is a more scooped setting. And then a number 3, channel 3, number 3 is a more mid-focused setting. Which is probably what Adam Jones might use. Now, of course, we also have channel 4, which is a more saturated channel with a bit more harmonics. With various shades of mid-range. And then also a very scooped one. So if you want to use these captures with a boost pedal up front, like a tube screamer or something, you can go ahead and try out the scoop settings. Okay, so yeah, this is just to give you an idea of how the capture pack looks. I think it sounds great, captures my amp really well. I really enjoyed this series, even though not all the modeling platforms did an amazing job at capturing at least my VH4. It's a quirky amplifier for sure, and I will say that even though there have been various revisions of this amplifier, all the ones that I've personally heard do have those quirks, those interesting dynamic characteristics and all that string definition. There's a fatness and thickness going on, but there's still a lot of string definition, which is quite cool and impressive in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'd love to know. Also be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as that really helps the channel out. You can get something in my affiliate links like Tonex pedal or a Diezel VH4 if you want to support this channel. I'd really appreciate it. Or you can get some of my capture packs or an IR pack in my web store. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.